I've been beating up big dudes all my life.
Cause they underestimate your bud.
It's just, even if they didn't, I'm gonna beat you up. You know, I can fight.
Right.
You know, so if you watch, like, all these dudes bigger than me.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't care.
After stunning revelations from Club Shay Shay, where Terence Crawford sat across from Shannon Sharpe and silently confirmed the staggering paydays set for what may be the biggest fight in modern boxing history.
But I'm gonna find a way to win, no matter what.
In September, are you gonna pull this? I shook up the world. I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you.
Definitely. That's definitely gonna be.
According to Sharpe, Canelo Alvarez is guaranteed a record-breaking $150 million, while Crawford will receive $100 million for their highly anticipated 2025 clash in Las Vegas. Crawford's silence was telling. No denials, no corrections, effectively verifying the numbers on air. This puts Canelo at the top of the sport's financial food chain, surpassing even Floyd Mayweather's historic $100 million guarantees for fights like Pacquiao and McGregor. These are the largest disclosed fight purses in boxing history, not including back-end pay-per-view revenue or sponsorships, making this matchup a certified financial juggernaut before a single punch has been thrown.
You know what I mean? One of the moments, you know? I need the doubters to fuel me. What you think he'd do if he go up 2 more weight classes? I need that, you know, because that's gonna make me more focused and turn into a different animal. So I need the people to say, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not.
This $250 million guaranteed payout is being orchestrated by Saudi Arabia's Turki Alalshikh, chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, and the man quickly becoming boxing's most influential power broker. His involvement in the sport has already helped reshape its global economics, funding major fights like Fury versus Usyk and Joshua versus Ngannou. With the Canelo-Crawford fight, Turki is not just spending big, he's making a point.
Are we going to see Terence Crawford versus Canelo?
As I tell before to the ESPN, I give him the offer. If he's smart, he will accept it.
Earlier this year, he publicly told Gervonta Davis that Crawford was being paid more for 2 fights than Davis had made in his entire career. That statement, once brushed off as bluster, is now clearly backed by numbers. What's more, this fight's revenue, projected to eclipse $750 million once global broadcasting rights, sponsorships, and PPV sales are factored in, may ultimately rival the sport's all-time highest earners. For context, Mayweather-Pacquiao generated around $600 million in total revenue. This bout is not only on track to match that, but possibly surpass it, signaling a seismic shift in how top-tier boxing events are financed and consumed.
Bud Crawford, just won his debut at 154. Said if the money's right, we'll fight. Everybody wants that fight. What do you feel about that matchup? People saying the weight, all this stuff. How do you feel about that?
You know, everybody wants to fight me. Everybody calling me out and everything. And you know, like I say, I have nothing to win with Crawford. 2, 3 weights class less than me. But if the money is right, why not?
Until recently, Canelo Alvarez showed little interest in facing Terence Crawford. The undisputed Mexican superstar had frequently dismissed Crawford's size and resume, suggesting the fight made no sense competitively or commercially. But once Turki Alalshikh offered him the richest guaranteed purse in the history of the sport, Canelo's tone quickly shifted. The $150 million offer, $50 million more than any fighter has previously received up front, proved too substantial to turn down. According to sources close to the negotiations, this fight is just the first installment of a lucrative 4-fight deal Canelo has signed with Turkey's camp, aligning the future of boxing's biggest name with Saudi Arabia's rapidly expanding sports entertainment empire.
Right? Why not? But look, I'm focused 100% on Berlanga. I know I have a challenge in front. I never overlook any fighter. So I'm focused 100% in this, and then we we'll see.
Canelo's pivot not only confirms the immense influence of Alalshikh's financial power, but also suggests that the traditional barriers preventing super fights, networks, promoters, politics, can be bulldozed by pure cash. With money clearly no object for Alalshikh, questions have naturally shifted toward Canelo's unwillingness to fight certain opponents, namely David Benavidez.
You don't think that's the one of the biggest fights that can be made?
Maybe. Who knows? He bring nothing to the table for me. If some promoter, they come and say, I offer to you 150 to 200 million, I fight tomorrow.
Critics argue that if $150 million could secure the Crawford bout, then a similar figure should suffice to make Canelo versus Benavidez a reality. Yet that fight remains elusive. Benavidez, an undefeated former champion with a fearsome reputation, has long been considered a legitimate threat to Canelo's legacy. Some fans and analysts now speculate that Alvarez's reluctance is less about business and more about risk management. Rumors are swirling that Canelo may be pricing himself out of the Benavidez bout deliberately, using inflated demands to sidestep what many see as his most dangerous matchup. While there's no direct confirmation that Canelo has asked for $1 billion to fight Benavidez, the exaggeration underscores a growing belief that strategic avoidance is at play. The optics matter.
No, I always say if the fight make sense, why not? But he's not in the plan.
He's not in the plan. Okay. Is there a specific reason for it? Is it because of his size, or it won't do anything for you in terms of pushing you toward your goals?
You know, like I say, it makes sense maybe. I don't know right now. I just gonna enjoy this fight, and please let me enjoy this fight.
Canelo accepted the Crawford fight only when offered the biggest bag in boxing history. So what's stopping the same from happening with Benavidez? With the curtain pulled back on their guaranteed paydays, the stakes in Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford have shifted from historic to surreal. Canelo, now the recipient of the largest guaranteed purse in boxing history at $150 million, enters this bout not only as the sport's highest paid active fighter, but also as a target for intense scrutiny. At 34 years old, with over 60 fights on his record and multiple wars against elite competition, some observers are beginning to question whether his prime has quietly slipped past. Though still dangerous and highly skilled, his recent performances, several of which have gone the distance, have sparked debates over whether age, mileage, or complacency is creeping in. While his technical brilliance remains intact, concerns about declining output, a more measured pace, and potential difficulty dealing with speedier, more elusive opponents like Crawford are gaining traction. On the other side stands Terence "Bud" Crawford, who has long operated outside the mainstream spotlight but is now firmly in the center of it. Backed by a historic $100 million guarantee. For a man once told he wasn't a pay-per-view draw, this moment is poetic.
I just want to know what number makes sense for you. What's fair?
I got $10 million for that fight.
That's a lie.
How you know that's a lie?
To fight Canelo?
Yeah.
That's a lie.
I'm doing it for the opportunity, baby.
Yeah, that's
The
good.
legacy.
Crawford has not only earned his shot through dominance across 4 weight divisions, but has now reached the pinnacle of financial reward in the sport. Yet, his demeanor hasn't changed. Known for his workmanlike mindset and relentless discipline, Crawford has made it clear that the money hasn't dulled his edge. "Silk pajamas don't soften my grind," he said, in response to comparisons with legends who lost motivation after massive paydays. Crawford, now 36, remains unbeaten, but he's entering uncharted territory physically as well, moving up to a weight class where his speed and timing will be tested against naturally bigger, harder-hitting opposition.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
You believe that?
Yeah, 100%. If he said 10 million, it's 10 million.
The legacy outweighed the money.
That's true. I respect that.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
3-time undisputed. Ooh, coming soon.
Beyond the staggering financials, this fight is about validation. It's the kind of event that will be referenced in highlight reels, documentaries, and barbershop arguments for decades. For Canelo, a win means more than just another title. It would silence those questioning his reluctance to face riskier opponents like David Benavidez and reaffirm his place among the sport's most fearless elite. Beating an undefeated younger opponent known for outsmarting everyone he faces would push his legacy closer to all-time great territory. For Crawford, the opportunity is just as profound. Already the first male boxer to become undisputed champion in 2 weight classes during the 4-belt era, a victory over Canelo at super middleweight would elevate him to historic heights. It would make him one of the most versatile champions in boxing history.
How many of y'all think Terence Crawford should bulk up? Bulking up, you're gonna lose speed. Yeah, but you can hit a lot harder. Definitely fighting out your comfort zone. You can always come in the smaller, faster fighter. Remember, it's a point game. You don't have to knock nobody out. So you saying he gonna dance all night?
Potentially placing his name alongside legends like Sugar Ray Leonard and Henry Armstrong in terms of multi-division greatness. But with greatness comes pressure, and in this case, failure doesn't just cost belts, it costs narrative control. This fight will redefine how the legacies of both men are remembered. For all the zeros in their bank accounts, one defeat on this stage can linger longer than a dozen triumphs. These fighters aren't just punching for glory, they're punching to shape history. With both fighters locked into their historic paydays, the eyes of the sports world are turning to Las Vegas, where the event is scheduled to take place in 2025, likely at Allegiant Stadium, a venue with the capacity to host a spectacle of this magnitude. Unlike traditional super fights, which are often constrained by promoter politics or broadcaster rivalries, this bout has transcended those barriers, thanks in part to the influence of Saudi Arabia's Turki Alalshikh and the financial freedom his involvement has created. The global buzz is palpable. Pay-per-view rights are expected to ignite fierce bidding wars among major streaming platforms and cable providers, while international broadcast rights across Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America are projected to drive unprecedented global engagement. For Las Vegas, already known as the fight capital of the world, this could be its most profitable night in combat sports history. The economic ripple effect is expected to inject hundreds of millions into the local economy, from hotels and restaurants to luxury transport and tourism. Brands and sponsors are lining up for a slice of the attention, and promotional efforts are likely to include immersive fan experiences, behind-the-scenes documentaries, and interactive digital campaigns that draw in both hardcore boxing fans and casual sports audiences alike. This isn't just a match, it's a full-scale entertainment phenomenon, engineered for maximum global consumption.
They accept, we want to see this fight, and I want to see Shakur Zubaydah.
Shakur Stevenson is here as well.
He accept, De La Hoya accept, Eddie accept, let's do it.
Canelo versus Crawford isn't just a super fight, it's a clear signpost for boxing's future. The involvement of sovereign wealth, open-pocketed backers like Turki Alalshikh, and independent deal-making suggests a paradigm shift, one where elite matchups no longer hinge on feuds between promoters or networks. If 9-figure purses can be offered outside the traditional US boxing system, and fighters can bypass years of political stalling to get marquee matchups signed, then the entire power structure of the sport could change. This fight will test that theory in real time. The implications are massive. If Canelo and Crawford can be drawn together with this level of incentive, who's next? Will we see Spence versus Boots Ennis, Fury versus Joshua 2, or the long-awaited Benavidez clash without years of build-up and disappointment? The old excuse, like the money's not right, may no longer hold water in this new era. Now that we know the money can be right, the pressure is on fighters, not just promoters, to prove they truly want greatness. Every top contender will have to ask themselves, what's stopping me now? Canelo versus Crawford isn't just a fight, it's a $250 million statement. A collision of legacy, leverage, and global influence. And when the bell rings in Las Vegas, it won't just determine who wins. It will reveal who still fights like they're broke, even after they've cashed the biggest checks in boxing history. Alright guys, for the best updates on boxing news, moments, events, and actions, subscribe to Knockout Updates and turn on notifications to never miss out on quality content and check out our other videos. Until next time, peace out.